our blessings which thank God for everyday miracles, the miracles we experience every single day, morning, evening, and night. These are the miracles which we often forget or overlook from one day to the next. Please join with me. By the way, I'm sorry. Before we begin, there are blessings in here. Some are particular to male or female. Some are particular to Jew or non-Jew. As you are going through these blessings, you'll select the appropriate readings. And of course, if you have any questions, you can always ask me. Send me a message, Rabbi, which blessing should I say? ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר נתן לשכלי בינה להבחין בין יום ובין לילה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם who opens the eyes of the blind. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מתיר האסורים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם זוקף כפופים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם who stretches the earth over the waters. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם המכין מצעדי גבר. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם מלביש ערומים. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם הנותן לעייף כוח. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם who made me in the image of God. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שעשני בן חורין. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם who has made me a Jew. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוזר ישראל בגבורה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם עוטר ישראל בתפארה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לעשות בדברי תורה. Blessed are you, eternal our God, ruler of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to engage with words of Torah. Elu devarim she'en lahem shiur. These are the things which are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all. Hallelujah, 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 el bikodsho. Hallelujah, birki yahuzo. Hallelujah, bigvurotav. Hallelujah, kerov gudlo. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Hallelujah, 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 Hallelu beteka shofar. Hallelu benevel vechino. Hallelu betofu machol. Hallelu bemenim ve'ugav. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, b'tzil tzilei shama. Hallelu, b'tzil tzilei Torah. Kol hanshama tehalel ya. Hallelu, hallelujah. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. Hallelu, hallelu, hallelu. I think that may have been a new version for some of you of this psalm. Um, this is the joy of having a rabbi and not a chazan, not a cantor. Whatever tune pops into my head is sort of the one that you're stuck with until we're back together in person and we can sing together. But the plus side is the bonus, you always get to learn new versions of prayers and new music. And there may be something in a tune that's a little bit different that speaks to you in a different way. As we transition to the heart of our service, we use as a punctuation mark throughout the service the Kaddish, in this case, the Chatzi Kaddish. Please join with me. Yitgadal v'yitkadash me'aba v'alma divrei chirutei v'yamlich malchutei b'chayechon u'vyomechon ובחיי דכל בית ישראל ברגלה ברגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהא שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירה בעלמה ואמרו אמן. We rise and turn toward the east, toward Yerushalayim, toward our historic connection between our people and God. Baruchu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed le'olam va'ed. Yalalai lai yalalai lai 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 lai. Or chadash al Tzion ta'ir, or chadash al Tzion ta'ir. ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאור, אור חדש על ציון תאיר, אור חדש על ציון תאיר. Baruch atah Adonai, Yotzer HaMe'orot. Praised are you, Adonai, creator of all heavenly lights. At dawn I seek you, my rock, my refuge. Where light meets dark, I judge myself. Faced with your grandeur, I am astonished and timid. For your eyes see all the thoughts in my heart. My heart and my tongue fail me. What is the source of my strength and what the spirit within me? So I will raise my voice in poems of praise to you, in gratitude for the breath of God you have placed within me. Baruch atah Adonai habocher be'amo Yisrael be'ahavav. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai echad. 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 Baruch Shem kevod malchuto le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai echad. If it is your custom to remain standing through the Shema, you may be seated at this time. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשבתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה פלא. שירה חדשה שיבחו גאולים, לשמך על שפת הים, יחד כולם הודו והמליכו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ופתחנו ממך יהודה וישראל. גואלנו אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, קדוש ישראל. ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל. We rise. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיה כל אתה רב להושיע, משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיה הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר, מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומדומך מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיה הכל. נקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוך כל הארץ כבודו. אדיר אדירנו אדוני, אדוננו מאדיר שמך בכל הארץ, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. אחד הוא אלוהינו, הוא אבינו, הוא מלכנו, הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו, ורחמיו לעיני כל חי. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהייך ציון, לדור ודור. הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, ולנצח נצחים קדושתך להקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש. To all generations we declare your greatness, and for all eternity proclaim your holiness. Your praise, O God, shall never depart from our lips. Praised Blessed are you, Adonai, the holy God. You may be seated. On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer in life, in peace, and in joy. May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah. Baruch atah Adonai she'otecha levadecha be'ira na'avod. And in honor of Hanukkah, the festival in which we find ourselves today, we join together in Psalm 118. Hodu l'Adonai ki tov, ki le'olam chasdo, vayomer na Yisrael, ki le'olam chasdo. יאמרו נא ואת אהרון, כי לעולם חסדו. יאמרו נא ירא אדוני, כי לעולם חסדו. We continue now in silent prayer and meditation. יהיו לרצון עם רפי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri vegoani, Ihiu leratzonim refim refim, Vehegion libi lefanecha. Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri, Adonai Tzuri vegoani. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart be acceptable to you, Adonai, my rock and my redeemer. If it is your custom to rise for the Torah service, you may do so at this time. אין כמוך ואלוהים אדוני, ואין כמעשיך, מלכותך מלכות, כל עולמים וממשלתך בכל דור ודור. אדוני מלך, אדוני מלך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן. Adonai Yivarech et amo v'shalom. There is none like you among the gods, Adonai, and there are no deeds like yours. You are sovereign over all worlds, and your dominion is in all generations. Adonai reigns, Adonai has reigned. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Adonai will give strength to our people. Adonai will bless our people with peace. Ki mitzion tetze Torah, Ki mitzion tetze Torah, Udvar Adonai miYerushalayim, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, בקדושתו, שמע ישראל, אדוני אלוהינו, אדוני אחד, אחד אלוהינו, גדול אדוננו, קדוש שמו, גדלו לאדוני איתי, ונרוממה שמו יחדיו. For this week's Torah reading, Paulette, would you like to have the Aliyah this morning?
It would be my pleasure.
Please.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMevorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, ונתן לנו את תורתו. Baruch atah Adonai נותן התורה.
Amen. Today in Vayeshev, we are reading from Genesis 37, beginning from verse 14. Amen. Vayomer lo, Lech na re'eh, Lech na re'eh, et shalom achecha, et shalom hatzon, v'hashiveni daber davar וישלחהו מעמק חברון היבוא שכמה וימצאהו איש והנה והנה טועה בשדה וישלחהו האיש לאמור מה הבקש ויאמר את אחי אנוכי את אחי אנוכי מבקש הגידה נא לי איפה הם רעים ויאמר האיש נסעו מזה כי שמעתי אומרים נלך דותנה וילך יוסף אחר אחיו וימצא בדותן
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torah emet, v'chai olam atah betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah.
Amen. In this week's Torah portion, in what we've just read, we have a very strange encounter with an unnamed figure, with this man who's only identified as Ish. However, we know from other accounts throughout the book of Genesis and throughout the Tanakh that sometimes, not always, but sometimes, when the word Ish appears, man, it's an indication that it in fact is not an ordinary human being, but a divine being that simply is appearing to the protagonist of the story as a human man. Jacob sends his son Joseph to look for his other brothers, for his other sons. And as Joseph is looking for his brothers, he finds himself wandering in a field. We see him wandering in a field. And we know that there is something biblically significant about fields, just as in the case of a couple weeks ago when Jacob and Esau were reunited in an earlier Torah portion. That reunion was specifically in the field, just as we know that when we read from Genesis, from the very beginning of Bereshit, As we read the story of Cain and Abel, their encounter was in the field, Sadeh. We know that when brothers meet in the fields, there is a biblical significance to that symbolism. Just like when people meet at a fountain or a well, there's significance to that meeting. And so what is he doing in the field? He's not looking for his brothers, he's wandering. Here is a figure who is lost. Biblically lost, spiritually lost, physically, yes, probably lost as well. And the man comes up to him. It's important to note that this figure, this perhaps angelic figure, approaches him and says, "What are you looking for?" He doesn't stop and ask for directions, although he's lost. It takes this angelic figure reaching out to him. And it's what follows. He answered, "I'm looking for my brothers. Could you tell me where they are pasturing?" And this possibly angelic figure said, "They have gone from here, for I heard them say, 'Let us go to Dothan.'" And Joseph followed his brothers and found them there at Dothan. This seemingly trivial exchange is nonetheless included in the Torah, in the holiest text of our people, in these words which have been preserved for nearly 3,000 years. And despite that fact, or for more than 4,000, for nearly 4,000 years, excuse me, yet despite that fact, this passage is included, and it seems completely trivial. Why include this anecdote of this exchange between Joseph and this unnamed figure? The fact that it's here tells us it must be of profound significance. And indeed it is. We find several things here. One is the obvious. Were it not for this simple exchange, had Joseph not encountered his brothers at Dothan in the time and the way that he did, they would not have conspired against him to kill him or to throw him in a pit, and then later to sell him into slavery rather than letting him die, which means he would not have gone to Egypt, which means he would not have become the vizier, which means he would not have been in a position of power or authority to save Egypt, which means he would not have been in a position to save the surrounding nations, which means he would not have been in a position to save, 22 years later, his brothers and his father, so that they could come down to Egypt. Which means that we as a people would never have been in Egypt at all. How different would our path have been? We don't know what the life of the Jewish people would have been like were it not for the Egyptian slavery. We don't know if we would still have found a Moses to lead us. We don't know if we would still have made our way to Sinai to receive the Torah, to receive God's revelation, to receive the wisdom of our generations. In fact, it is these trials and tribulations, these hardships, that shape us into a people and that continue to shape us as a people today. The hardships and difficulties that we went through as a people. So true it is that the hardships and the difficulties that we face as individuals shape who we are and the people that we become. This angel sent by God to make sure that Joseph encountered his brothers at this time, to make sure that Joseph was sold into slavery, so that during the famine 22 years later, he could save his father and his brothers, establish the Jewish people. We could grow in numbers. We could eventually find our Moses, have the exodus from Egypt, receive the revelation of Sinai. All depends on this one seemingly trivial encounter, which is the second lesson. There are no trivial encounters in life. We might think there are. We might think that our words and our interactions with other people don't matter. We might think that our words don't affect other people, and yet they do. We find this man with this seemingly innocuous phrase. They've left from here. I heard they went down to Dothan. How more innocuous, how more inconsequential can a phrase be? Saying, oh, I heard from somebody such and such. Passing on something that was overheard from one context to another. We often think it's inconsequential. We often think to ourselves, what was said in private, they won't care if it's brought to the public. Or what is said in one meeting, people won't care if it's brought to a different meeting. What can this small, trivial piece of information possibly do? And yet, we see that even small, trivial pieces of information, small, trivial statements, and small, seemingly trivial encounters can be life-changing for the people involved. And finally, we see in the very first verse that I've read here, rather the second verse that I read here, a man came upon him wandering in the fields. When you are lost and wandering, when you are spiritually unanchored, sometimes you cannot reach out to others. Sometimes you need others to reach out to you. And what is the role of this angel? Is it an angel or a human? Perhaps it's an angel. Many commentators have said so. But perhaps it is a human, acting in the role as a heavenly messenger. Perhaps a human being reaching out to someone who is lost, who is spiritually seeking, who's looking for something that they can't find. Maybe what they need is you. They need you to be that angelic figure, that messenger of God, to reach out with a simple question. How are you? What are you looking for? What can I do for you? This seemingly innocuous phone call, email, text, WhatsApp, whatever you'd like to do. Send a meme on Facebook, the little animated GIFs or GIFs. Sometimes that reaching out to somebody might be exactly what they need at a time when they are feeling lost and disconnected. These three different messages are in fact all one message, that our words matter, that every encounter we have, as trivial as we might think it is, every encounter is of spiritual significance, and we can use that knowledge and that power to reach out to others. Shabbat Shalom. We continue now with the Mishabach prayer. If there are Those who you know within your circle of concern who are in need of healing, you may say their names when I pause in the Hebrew. Mishaberach Avotenu v'Imotenu, Avraham, Yitzchak, v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, v'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim. Tal Hazon, Jacob Hazon, Mayor Ben Esther, James Dutremaine, Yolanda Easley, Oscar Garcia, Caleb Ben Yaakov Micha, Robert Berlin, Schoni Bat Malka, Ilan Bat Schoni, Alan Fishman, Victoria Fishman, Ilanit Bat Woot, Devoa Lea Bat Sipa, and Jeff Gabriel. You may add your own names either aloud in the chat or in your own heart. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yimaleh rachamim alechem lehachalimam ulerakutam ulehachazikam vayishlach lehem mehera refuah shlema min hashamayim refuat hanefesh urefuat haguf hashta b'gala ubizman kariv v'nomar Amen. We conclude our Torah reading with Eitz Chaim. If it is your custom to rise for the Torah service, you may do so at this time. Eitz Chaim hi lama hazikim ba v'tomecheha meusha teracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha shalom hashivenu Adonai elecha v'nashuva Chadesh Chadesh Yameinu Chadesh Yameinu Kekedem. And now we all rise together. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצא בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו Ushmo Echad. There are stars up above so far away that we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest nights, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. Our community in particular at this time is remembering John Brown, Aaron Asensio, Roy Dale, Adalia Asensio, Antonio Diaz, Leanne Wernick, Myrna Levine, Charlene Hertz, Sergey Bernier, Eugenio Colon, Norma Rabinovich, Shenu Bat Avram Fefegi, Rodrigo Diaz, and at the time of their yard sites, Leonard Croman and Sarah Gerwitz. If you have additional names of those who you are remembering at this time who have died in recent days or at this season in years past, you may say their names at this time. Zichronam levracha, may their memories be a blessing. We rise together. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei Rabbah. בעלמא דברה חירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעולם ולעולמי עולמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו. לעילה מן כל בחרתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה דאמירם בעלמא ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה shalom עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all the world, to which we say, amen. This is the perfect time to get whatever you're enjoying for Kaddish. And actually, I'm seeing that my coffee cup is empty. I'm going to go get a refill while you get whatever you're enjoying for Kiddush. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורות ברית עולם. ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו. Therefore Adonai blessed the day of Shabbat and hallowed it. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן. For all other beverages, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, she'hakol nihye bidvaro. And if you are enjoying breads or other bready treats, that's a technical term, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen. L'chaim. Please do stick around for our Oneg social, which begins now. Shabbat Shalom.
I have a question.
A question for me or for everybody?
For everybody, but mainly for you and Paulette. On Monday, there is a launch, and the subject of the launch will be the Maccabees story.
Yes.
Is it going to be through Zoom, or is it going to be the launch at the temple? And do we have to take our lunch bag with us, or how is it working?
It's only on Zoom.
Only on Zoom. Okay.
Yes. Until further notice. We've done lunch and learns except for September when we had high holidays. We've had a lunch and learn every month. It's always on the second Monday of the month, and we'll continue to do that. We've already got our topic for February, for those of you who are in the Torah study. And I don't know what we'll do next month, but for today at least, it is, or for Monday rather, that'll be the topic. Once we are able to transition towards having something in the temple building, we certainly will as soon as we can do that safely. And in the meantime, we're to bring your own lunch. Only over Zoom. Has anybody here been to previous lunch and learns that we've done?
You're kind of out there. It's kind of hard to hear you. Yeah, I cannot hear you.
Okay, I'm gonna try to change something with the microphone. I'm using the computer's built-in microphone. No. Which right now is my only backup. I'm not sure why my microphone that was working fine during the Torah study stopped working. And unfortunately, this is my only backup, and I know that the sound is not very good.
So we're probably going to come by tonight for the lighting thing and all that, but we'll probably just be staying in our car because our family's still very in our bubble.
Absolutely. I'm going to try another microphone here. Does this sound any better than it did a minute ago? So this might be my alternate backup. Even when things are going well. All right. What if I'm over here? Can you still hear me all right? Okay. So this now we have a backup microphone that I know will work.
I still hear you cutting in and out when you're sitting where you are right now.
From here, it's cutting in and out.
Yes, a little bit.
But it sounds a lot better than it did during the service.
Yes, it was good.
Service was okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
there wasn't any problems in the service.
There were no problems during the service.
Maybe the battery gets low after a while or something.
Well, I think that's what happened with my new wireless microphone. The benefit and the drawback of a wireless microphone. This is a wired microphone. It's supposed to be of pretty good quality, but you're telling me it's still cutting in and out right now. Okay.
It seems like maybe it depends on how loud you're speaking. Like if you get a little bit lower, it kind of doesn't pick it up as well. That's what it sounds like to me. Might be that one.
Okay. From here, though, the sound is all right. All right, and if I switch to the other microphone, this is now the built-in microphone on the computer. When I'm standing in front of the computer, it's fine. Yes. And when I'm over here, you can still hear me as well. No, this is no good. This is what we had during the service.
Yeah, I was not able to hear you very well during the service, nor on YouTube.
Okay.
And that's
See, I
because
didn't have trouble during the service.
I'm sorry?
I didn't have trouble during the service.
So some people had trouble during the service and some didn't with the built-in. Yeah, I'm relying. I have to rely, and I know that this is not the most exciting thing, but I'm still hoping beyond hope that I'll find a setup that works reliably from one week to another. You know, these professional streamers who do, live streams from their homes day in and day out. Not only do they have top of the line equipment, which I do not, they also do it from the same place with the same setup every single time. And gosh, I envy that. If it were possible to have one streaming location, that would simplify my life tenfold. I don't think that that's possible right now. All right, I'm gonna switch the camera here.
Be available.
I'm sorry?
I said, here's to hoping that the vaccine can become available soon.
Oh, absolutely. Of course, that'll be its own challenge. Once, oh, that camera's not working at all.